Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. This is chapter 3 reading of this book, Mischief and Masquerade. It is a fun switched identity short story. It is about a woman. Her name is Kate Wellington, and she has convinced her friend Emily Hayes to switch places with her so that she can observe the guy she's supposed to marry that her parents set her up with. So this is chapter 3. I hope you love it. Yeah, I had so much fun writing this. Chapter 3. A man came into the lobby from a back office. "Hello, ladies. I understand you need some help with your luggage." Lacy's face lit up at the sight of the man. "This is Miss Wellington and her personal assistant, Emily Hayes." "Ah, I heard all about your itinerary." He held out his hand. "I'm Tanner Gonzalez. If you need anything, call the desk and someone will take care of you." Lacy put her finger to her lips. These guests want to keep everything on the hush-hush. Tanner and Lacy must have a thing for each other. It was undeniable by their expression and the way they locked eyes. Maybe they were newlyweds. Kate couldn't imagine this inn having enough staff to take care of any needs that would certainly come up. She hoped their anonymity would make up for the lack of luxury. Still, she pasted a pleasant expression on her face. "Thank you." Kate had never been one of those presumptuous guests who demanded everything to be perfect. Truth be told, she loved the hominess of this quaint inn. It had an old-fashioned feel to it, without being antique. "Come, ladies, I'll take your things." Tanner slung their satchels over his shoulder before grabbing the handles of their oversized suitcase. Kate suppressed a giggle as she mentally compared him to a pack mule. Once they reached the third floor, Kate studied the brocade carpeting, the patterned wallpaper, and the antique furniture in the alcove off the elevator. The sun poured through the windows, casting a lovely glow across the mahogany table and leather couch in an alcove. A cowboy boot filled with sunflowers made up the centerpiece, and a bookshelf behind the chair sported a variety of hardback books. Maybe she'd find time to cozy up here and read while Emily played her role when she wasn't invited to attend her dates with the Earl. Emily followed Tanner down the hall, with Kate in tow. She'd coached her best friend several times before they arrived that her social status required her to take a more deferential role. This would help to reinforce the illusion of Emily's hierarchy they were pretending to uphold. Tanner inserted a key in the lock. "It's a master." The door swung inward, and a delicate scent of roses floated out to the hallway. As Kate entered the room, it was like stepping back 100 years in the past. She took a moment to absorb the charming blend of old-fashioned elegance. A living room sat at the heart of the suite with a grand fireplace and a carved wooden mantel. Above it hung a gilded mirror, reflecting the soft ambient light from a small chandelier centered over a coffee table. An enormous bouquet of roses sat in the middle of it. The walls showcased matching floral wallpaper on the bottom and a soft seafoam green on the top, separated by a chair railing. A plush sofa upholstered in emerald green velvet sat on the one side, and a couple of wingback chairs in complementary floral fabrics flanked it. To the side, a sleek modern kitchen integrated the old-world charm with its gleaming marble countertops and sage green cabinets with brass handles. Two dark wood chairs accompanied a matching table. Moving down the short hall, the first bedroom held some elegance of antique combined with modern. Her bed at home paled compared to the four-poster one. "Which suitcase is yours?" Tanner asked Emily. "This one." She pointed to the oversized black suitcase with the pink ribbon tied to the handle. Tanner wheeled it into the master bedroom. "Across the hall is the bathroom. Sorry, but you'll have to share." Emily nodded. "It's fine. I have to share with—" Kate nudged her with her elbow. As an only child, Kate had her own suite at home. "I don't mind." Emily smiled sweetly. He took a lighter from his shirt pocket and lit several candles on the dresser, filling the room with fragrance of sugar cookies. "I hope you enjoy your stay." "Thank you." Emily sat on the edge of the bed and ran her fingers over the brocade comforter. "Your room is this way." He motioned Kate to the room sitting kitty-corner to Emily's. While slightly smaller, the second bedroom was equally invited, with a wrought iron bed frame and bedspread in the same color of seafoam green as the walls. An armoire stood in one corner, its door slightly ajar, revealing a flat-screen television. Kate took in the details of the ornate but harmonious blend of textures and colors with a sense of comfort and intrigue. This hotel was going to be the ideal backdrop for her masquerade. And I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to go ahead and read chapter 4. While Emily unpacked her things, Kate closed the doors to the armoire and put her clothes in the dresser below the television. She hung up several casual dresses along with a formal one wrapped in dry cleaner plastic. As she straightened the soft silk fabric in a rich shade of mint green, she hoped she wouldn't have to wear it. What formal event in this podunk town would call for this kind of attire? She wouldn't have even brought it if her mother hadn't insisted. Oh well, there it would hang for 2 weeks. Emily popped her head into the doorway. "Aren't you finished?" "I am now." She closed the closet door. "Are you hungry?" "Starving." Emily clenched her fist over her stomach. "How long until 6 o'clock?" Kate pulled her phone out of her pocket. 2 hours, too close to dinner to eat a full meal. Maybe they could go into town and find a grocery store, pick up a few snacks to keep on hand. She opened her map app and found Maggie's Market within walking distance. "It's just across the road and down a ways. Let's go." Emily shook her head. "I won't have time to get dressed if we walk. And how will we carry everything back?" Kate chuckled. "First, it's not like we need to buy a lot, since we're probably not going to cook here. Secondly, just how much time do you need to get ready?" "Well, I don't know." Emily scrunched her eyebrows together. "How long do you usually take? I mean, you always look glammed up." Kate hardly considered herself glammed. Most of the time, she threw on her jeans and a t-shirt. Just because she came from a wealthy family didn't mean she had to be all showy about it. "You're just going to dinner at the cafe next door. We'll pop our heads in and see how informal it is, and then you can decide how dressed up you want to get." Kate raised her eyebrows. "Besides, it's not like you really need to impress him that much. It's me who's supposed to check him out. You'll just report back everything that happens. See if he's Wellington material." "Man, I'm glad I'm not a real Wellington. Too much pressure." Emily left the room, returning a minute later with her purse over her shoulder. "Okay, let's go." When they got to the lobby, Rick and Oliver were sitting on the couch and chair. Oliver had his ankle slung across his knee and was perusing a local magazine. He glanced up at her over the pages. "Headed off somewhere?" "We're going to make a run for snacks." Kate didn't know why she felt the need to explain it to him. She could have just told him they were going out. Rick jumped off the couch. "I'll come with you." "You might need help carrying your things back." Kate eyed Rick. Shouldn't Oliver have offered? Oliver glanced at his watch. "Doesn't leave much time for you to get ready for dinner." Dressed for dinner? Really? It wasn't like it was a formal affair. Kate put her hands on her hips. "It's across the street." He closed the magazine and set it on the coffee table with a slap of the pages. With a groan, he stood. "Which way?" It didn't take Captain Obvious to see he didn't want to spend his afternoon this way. Kate motioned with a grand sweep of her hand. "This way." Emily linked arms with Rick. "I'm so glad we have this opportunity to get to know each other without our parents breathing down our necks." Oliver followed behind them, leaving Kate by herself at the back of the group. He could have at least waited for her. Not that she wanted to link arms with that gorgeous brown-eyed hunk. And yes, she had taken careful note of his soul-swallowing eyes. After walking a few blocks, she realized the store was farther than she'd anticipated, and now she wished she'd worn her tennis shoes, as the back of her pumps rubbed against her heels. It was a good thing they weren't going dancing later. It hadn't looked that far on the map. They should have taken her rental car. The pain in her foot slowed her down, and she tiptoed on her injured foot to catch up with them. Oliver spun around. "Are you all right?" Wow, the first nice thing he said to her since they arrived. However, it should have been obvious that she wasn't by the way she was limping. "I'm fine," although she wasn't. She limped a little faster and caught up to him. "You're walking like you're not fine." "I'm fine," she repeated, and passed him to catch up with Emily. "I'm sorry, we should have driven over." "It's okay." Still holding Rick's arm, Emily turned. "I'm rather enjoying the walk, and the breeze is lovely and the sun is warm." Oliver caught up to Kate. "You're not fine." He spun her around, turned his back to her, and squatted. "Hop on." Was he serious? Offering her a piggyback ride? When she hesitated, he said, "Or I can carry you over my shoulder if you prefer." "Oh, no, you wouldn't." Oliver stood, spun around, and scooped her up, and true to his threat, she found herself staring down at his backside. She screamed and kicked her legs. "Put me down this instant." "Nope. You made your choice. Now you'll have to live with the consequences." He strode past Emily and Rick. If she yelled for help, would anyone come to her rescue? By the look on Emily's face, she was rather enjoying Kate's predicament. As Oliver jogged across the street with Kate dangling over his shoulder, he literally turned her world upside down. The initial shock of his hoisting her off the ground sent her heart racing. To keep from falling, she grabbed the back of his shirt with her fist, trying to steady herself. The rhythmic movements jolted her insides, and her hair swung wildly in her face. Her stomach flipped with each step. His arms around her legs sent a tingle of excitement down her spine. A small part of Kate couldn't help but find a flicker of amusement in the absurdity of this decision. The scent of his musky cologne mingled with the fresh outdoors sent her emotions rushing crazily in a direction she'd never thought possible. His shoulder under her stomach was broad, firm, and leaving her with no doubt this man worked out. Did he double as Rick's bodyguard? As they reached the other side of the road, her breaths came in huffs, and he slowed to a brisk pace. "Okay, you can put me down now." She released his shirt and squirmed for him to let her go. Instead of putting her on the ground, he swung her into his arms. Her hands instantly gripped each other around the back of his neck. Why were her eyes drawn to his mouth? What would it be like to kiss him with his well-groomed beard? Shocked at the sudden thought, Kate pushed away from him. He released her and set her on the sidewalk. Emily and Rick caught up to them. Neither one of them commented on the situation. Breathing heavily, Emily stepped back and clenched her fist. Was that really necessary? Using the shoulder she dangled from, he shrugged lightly while smirking at her. Kate limped after her friend. As heat rose to her cheeks, Oliver's rhythmic footsteps sounded on the pavement behind her. Did anyone see what just had happened? She did a 360-degree turn to see who else was out and about. A mother with a baby in a stroller, two boys carrying baseballs, bats, and gear, a sheriff's car driving at a slow pace past them. None of them looked as though they'd seen, or were they pretending they hadn't? Would the incident start a chain of gossip? Her stomach tightened at the thought. What if somebody wanted to know who they were? Would the paparazzi show up? That would be the worst thing ever. The entire world would know Emily was an imposter. The ruination of her chances of becoming a countess would devastate Kate's parents. My offer still stands, Oliver said from behind her. Kate jumped at Oliver's soft breath on her neck, sending electric butterflies through her stomach. She didn't turn to answer him, but threw over her shoulder. I'm good. How did this man excite and embarrass her at the same time? He chuckled, but not fine. As long as she was in his presence, would she ever be fine again? So that was chapter 3 and 4. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, thank you for joining me today. And I will see you next week, and I will read a couple more chapters to you.